Yeah, it's rewind time.
Awesome, you're here. Let's go. So we're going to be taking a little bit of a car trip, and as we're going on this trip, we're going to be talking about a little bit of the ethical issues that come across in everyday business. So let's say it's Target, let's say it's Amazon, let's say it's other brands that you're ordering online from. Whatever it is, whatever you interact with on a daily basis, there's going to be some ethical issues involved in that. And so we're going to take a little bit of a journey in my car, and we're going to talk about it. Let's go. There are a couple different companies that I tend to care about that can fall into ethically questionable behavior, and the two companies that I'm thinking about immediately are a company called Wizards of the Coast, and then the second one is Adidas and Yeezy specifically. So the first one, Watsi, they engage in ethically questionable behavior because they have a product that they're coming out. It's within a limited release window that they are partnering with the charity to donate certain of their proceeds to charity to help donate money to help Children's Hospital that specializes in giving kids who have autism a second opportunity and a second chance. And what they're doing is they're partnering with them so that they can design artwork, and then they'll make cards of those artwork using professional artists as well, and highlighting the kids as well, and then donating that money. And the issue being is that, can a company honestly support a cause such as this while also pursuing profit? And personally, I would prefer if the company itself were to just directly just partner with the hospital itself and not even look at making revenue, because the company has enough money. They are available to just donate money. They have more than enough money to do so. That being said, however, I think this presents a good opportunity of companies that I can support two different things at the same time and feel better about it. So I can not just support this like really rich company, but I can also donate money to charity. The offhand being is that I can also just personally donate to charity on my own, and then the added benefit is that maybe it might get some people who wouldn't normally donate to charity but can now donate to both charity and a cause, and then also support the businesses that they like as well. The second company I'm planning on talking about is a company called Adidas, or Adidas. Everybody knows what that is, but the main criteria for this is them purposely releasing a product that has a limited window for you to buy it. And the product is Yeezys, of course. It's a shoe brand that most people at least know about, and know mostly for the outrageous price on the secondary market. So how they release their product is they release it from an initial site with a certain MSRP, and then once it sells out, it's gone, and then you can't get it anymore unless you buy it on a secondary market for a higher price. And so the question is, should companies be allowed to utilize or release products in this manner, and then specifically capitalize on the psychological impact of FOMO, or the fear of missing out? And for me personally, I think a company has every right within its business to release products in whatever manner they see fit, but they do need to fall within certain ethical standards. The issue, the non-issue about this is that Yeezys are a luxury, so you don't have to buy these shoes. You can buy other shoes. The problem that I have personally is preying on people's a psychological weakness, or FOMO, is releasing it within a certain window. It pressures people in order to make a financially potentially irresponsible decision, because they have such a short window to make a decision, and so they don't really have any time to meditate on it at all.
Are domestic companies obligated to address international issues when they move operations overseas?
Yes, because in order to engage in business, you must behave ethically. You cannot separate ethics and business, because they are one and the same. When you go abroad and you choose to prioritize something like profit over ethics, it shows that you don't care about ethical issues and you care about making money. This is a good example. There's a snowboard company that moved production to China, and the only thing the CEO could quote was that their numbers had tripled in 1 year. And so when he was pressed about ethical issues, be like, so what happened about the Uyghur people? Do you disagree with what's happening in accordance with like the Chinese government and stuff? And so his first response was, I'm not obligated to talk about that, but what I do know is that our numbers have gone up. So when the company changes its operations to overseas, I would advise that they uphold the same ethical standards that they keep at home than they do abroad, because once you change your ethical obligations, you open yourself up to criticism by saying that So because our borders have changed, our ethics have now changed. So what we're doing is technically legal, but may not be ethical, which is a question that companies need to ask themselves: is how can they remain consistent while still pursuing profit?
One brand that I interact with almost every day is Instagram. My phone says I spend about 30 minutes on Instagram every single day. They have been a part of many ethical problems, yet they still seem to be thriving as the most popular social media app. They have been caught sharing users' information, bending rules for celebrities, and harshly punishing users for seemingly normal content. Along with Facebook, Instagram seems to be one of the most unethical social media businesses out there. Yet their popularity is bigger than ever. I have seen all these headlines, yet I continue to use the app. After thinking about this, I realized I rationalize it by telling myself my data will never be stolen. I don't want to believe Instagram and other social media is harmful to me because I'm so addicted to it. This is an advantage that Instagram and other social media knows they have over me and other users. Social media is so addicting that it doesn't matter if we catch them being unethical. We are going to continue to use it. We see this with many other brands, not just social media. Brands like Nike using slave labor in China, Walmart treating employees poorly, or fast fashion brands like Shein. All of these businesses make unethical decisions, but they continue to be at the top of their market year after year. At the end of the day, the product is what we care most about as consumers. Social media is a little different, as there is not enough laws dedicated to ethical behavior by social media companies. This is why it's so important that the government continues to create regulations in social media. These apps and sites are never going to show any changes to their unethical behavior. They might issue a public apology or take a fine by the government, but their product is still number one. And we, as consumers, are going to continue to use it.
So today I'm going to be talking about the ethical and unethical practices in business. So from two large corporations, they're both really familiar to us, just especially being in the United States, it's where they're from. First one's going to be Ford Motor Company. So they were founded in Michigan, based in Michigan now. They've been a very ethical company. So they've actually been nominated and won 8 years in a row for being the world's most ethical company. So they're now in their 8th year in a row. So no other car company has been nominated for this award or awarded this many times before. So the thing that they do differently is they really pride themselves and put their values forward on being like a good corporate citizen, including supply chain sustainability, responsible mineral sourcing, and partnerships for a cleaner environment. I think it's really important since they are producing so many gas-powered vehicles. They really take into account like how much damage that could really have on the environment through the emissions that they're creating. So their really big push is going to be they're pushing their electric vehicles. That way it'll really help them expand elsewhere. The second example for not so ethical is going to be Nike. So Nike's kind of always been in the news, especially lately, but they've been known to commit unethical acts by using sweatshops to produce its sneakers as well as activewear since the early 70s. So this has been shown all over the news, exposing the sweatshops all over the world. Personally, it's more surprising that the fact that it's so relevant in the media, yet we still continue to support them. They really should try to focus on finding like a happy middle ground on some level, and instead of just kind of brushing off the fact that they're known to be doing some really unethical things. But overall, those are the two examples that I thought were really relevant since they're both US-based companies and they're both companies we see on a day-to-day basis.
In the long history of business, the main concern of business ethics has remained the lure of profit versus social responsibilities of a company. So corporate social responsibility enhances profitable returns by representing the new expectations of the workforce and the market economy. So corporate social responsibility is no longer just about doing the good for society. It's about trying to find the balance of doing good for the company and society. The profit motive can be defined when civic-minded corporate executives worry more about how they can maximize the bottom line without breaking the rules of society. So simply put, the profit motive suggests that people tend to take actions that will result in them making more money or profiting. So profit motive is thought to be one of the main drivers behind economic activity. Economists have often tried to figure out why people do the things that they do. Some answers point to simple survival, but in most situations, people need some form of income to pay for the necessities of life. So the benefits of the profit motive would be companies can use the profit motive to understand their consumers. For example, a company may show that their subscription service can save someone time and money, which can increase their overall profit. And business executives use this principle to make lucrative decisions. Business executives are more likely to make lucrative financial decisions when motivated by profit. Some disadvantages of the profit motive include people may be more likely to ignore the risks to increase their profits. And an example of this would be any high risk, high reward scenario that would come to mind. It's usually risking a lot, usually financially, for the greater financial gain. And the profit motive can cause financial crisis and other emergencies. Like when a business professionals take action based solely on profit, they can ignore the risk and cause financial emergencies for those within their company or within the entire economic structure. A real-life example of the profit motive would be when a farmer that grows corn and carrots each year goes to the local farmer's market. The farmer discovers that their corn is selling out right away, but they go home with more carrots than they can eat each week, so many of the carrots just go to waste. The following year, when planting new crops, the farmer decides to plant far more corn than carrots in order to maximize their profits and to avoid wasting food. So this is an example of how the profit motive functions with supply and demand and can regulate supply. And a different example would be an engineer that wants to stop spending money on gasoline and knows that they can make money if they patent a new type of fuel. So they spend their free time working on a machine that can convert water into energy for their vehicle. And when they succeed in this, they create and market their design, selling the idea to a car manufacturer for a large sum of money. And here the profit motive influences them to create something that can positively affect other people as well as the environment.